How's it going, everybody? This is Shady of Shady Horror, back with another watch to finish this kind of trilogy off here. The second part, this is It Chapter 2. If you haven't seen my previous ones, go check out my review for It from 2017 and the original It, the miniseries. But let's go ahead and get into the synopsis of this. After 27 years, It has returned. As people begin to disappear in Derry, Mike calls the rest of the Losers Club home so they can destroy It once and for all. Damaged by the past, the losers must conquer their deepest fears to take on Pennywise, who is now deadlier than ever. Again, like the previous one, this has a lot of cool special features on it. I pretty much watched all these documentaries. You have this one, The Summers of It, Chapter 1, You'll Float 2, and Chapter 2, It Ends. And then you have these behind the scenes things. Meeting of the Losers Club has officially begun. Pennywise Lives Again. The original one, just called Pennywise Lives, is on that original It from 2017. And Finding the Deadlights. And then, commentaries I don't really get to as much, but I definitely checked out all the special features and stuff. And I just like to say on this one, somebody in the special features, I forget exactly was, kind of summed up these movies good, at least chapter 1 and chapter 2. She says in chapter 1, it's the kids learning to become adults. In chapter 2, it's the adults learning to become kids again. So let's go ahead and get into this review. This is It, chapter 2. It is from the year 2019. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 49 minutes. It is rated R, and this is also put out again by Warner Brothers Entertainment. I like the cover of this Blu-ray. It's simple, yet throws back a bit to that original miniseries cover. Kind of cool. It with the black background, It, Chapter 2, with the white background. Looks dope. We get a good recap in the beginning, going back to 1989 and the vow, the promise that was made. Then we fast forward to 27 years later. Pennywise is back. And well, welcome to Derry, motherfucker. That's a direct quote. And we're off and running for chapter 2. Again, awesomely directed, casted, and acted, in my opinion. Like the miniseries, they do a good job of recasting the kids as adults. The same director returns, and it's got some good locations as well. A carnival, the Warner Brothers backlot, various cities where the Losers Club now reside, and of course, back to Derry, Maine. I know a lot of people don't care for this one as much, and hey, I understand. I've only seen this one time prior, and I think I gotta say, I have a new appreciation for it, especially watching it close in time to the previous film. Again, on Blu ray, it looks great, and all of the cast legit could be the kids grown up. They resemble them and share those same quirks each character has, just like the miniseries. It's done well. The blood and gore is great here again, and the overall look of the film, great stuff. I'm glad they were able to keep the same director to direct both films, like it should be. I like the Chinese restaurant scene in this one. It's fun, it's funny. Yeah, there is CGI, but a good blend of CGI and practical effects. The same vibe is here, the same tone is here. It does seem like they're the same kids, just a lot older and grown up now. The whole cast does a solid job. The scene under the bleachers at the baseball game is legit creepy. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is back at peak form here, delivering the goods again. The walk, the talk, the lazy, crazy eye. Pennywise is creepy. Great effects, too, in my opinion, practical and CGI. Remember, at times, only these characters see these certain things or images. It looks kind of interdimensional or really even more nightmarish. So it's solid throughout to me. And again, the sound is phenomenal. The sound design and setup is great in these films, and I like the aspect of the natives and the visions as well, and how it appeared to them. Another great scene and another great addition to the story, and they expand on that a little bit more in this one. I won't give too much away for some who may haven't seen these films, but yeah, the story is much more deep, more in depth. It is an ancient evil, and it can present itself in many different forms. It feeds on fear. When they throw back to their old clubhouse, that's a really cool scene too. And how it's shot, they're pretty much back to being kids again, and all their memories come rushing back. There's a Lost Boys poster down there in the clubhouse, and more good 80s nostalgia in the flashback. That was cool to see again as well. Uh, they really nailed the 80s vibe even in the flashbacks and stuff and how they grew up. How many out there are still friends with your childhood friends? Or how many would actually go back and keep a promise that you made as kids? I don't know. It brings up some questions too. And like I said, what I think she's a producer, how she said in chapter one, it's the kids learning to be adults. And in chapter two, it's adults learning to be kids again. I just thought that was a really cool, easy way of summing these up. And of course, the whole story, there's a lot more to it than that. But yeah, I just thought that was a cool little thing that she had said. This crew picks up right where they left off. They have a mission, fears to face, and an evil to confront. There's some great flashback yet original scenes here too, with them as kids, and all the cast is here to reprise their roles. Like everybody returns for this, like it should be too. I really appreciated seeing that this time, that they were able to keep everybody from, chapter one to go in chapter two. It's a little pet peeve of mine when they have to change actors or things in movies, but I'm glad this one was able to keep the same cast in both part one and both part two. And I really did appreciate seeing that this time. And that scene where Beverly goes in that building and that old lady, another great scene. And that's all I'll say about that. And I'll also just say Paul Bunyan. Paul motherfucking Bunyan. And a great Stephen King cameo in here, which ties in really good. I love it. It was really cool seeing Stephen King pop up in here, as he does in many of his movies. But this cameo, I think, holds some weight to it. It's pretty good shit, especially what he says. It's funny and it's delivered well. It's done well. Watching all three of the It movies so close together this time, I enjoyed them thoroughly. They are done so well. And I know some people may not be a big fan of the ending, but again, go back to that Stephen King cameo. It does say a lot, and it's cool. Even if you're not the biggest fan of the ending, which I kind of wasn't at first as well, it does what it's supposed to do. Remember when you were a kid and thought that good, could truly always prevail over evil? That's what it's harkened back to, like, how they're learning to be kids again and believe in certain things again and just have that spirit of being a kid again. But yeah, it's cool. I enjoyed it more this time. The feeling of actually facing your fears. I'm a big fan of all that. And I'm a big fan of the It movies. And I always will be. Okay, everybody. This is Shay D of Shady Horror. And today it was It Chapter 2.